Hey guys, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Cincinnati Reds. It is May 1st, 2031, and we finished April 14 and 10, which is a game up in first place. It was it was a very up and down month. If you look at the month of April, we got off to a really hot start again, just like we did last season. We won 7 of our first 8 games, then lost 3 out of 4, then had a 3-game winning streak, and now we've lost 6 out of 9 to finish up the month. So, very up and down. Just been a very up and down month. We'll look at the stats quickly again. I don't want to spend too much time on the stat. I guess we can go into the first month's stats now because May will kind of sim through and look at a glance. So if we start with pitching, Giolito's been just awful. An 8.91 FIP. He's already a negative .7 win pitcher. He's had, I believe he had one good start. Yeah, his first start back on 4-7, he gave up 1 run in 6 2/3, but it's been pretty awful ever since then. Otherwise, it's been okay. Barnes, Morales, Brown, and Guillaumes have all been fine-ish to some extent. Guillaumes has taken us a bit of a step back. You can see an ERA of close to 5. His first 2+ starts, he went the first 13 and a third innings of the season without giving up a run. His last 2 starts, though, have been a challenge. His contract is up after this season, so with what he wants and with how he's performing, I don't know. We'll see. Justin Barnes has been fine. ERA is a little bit high, but I think that's just from one bad start. Yeah, this one start here on the 15th, he gave up 7, but his other 4 starts have been either 2 runs or 1. Morales has been better this year than he was last year. Cam Brown has actually been pretty good in that number 5 starter spot. 4 starts, 1-0. Tony Stewart's been a monster so far. Already pitched 16 and a third innings, 12 games, 8 hits, 5 walks, 34 strikeouts in 16 and a third innings. He's only on pace for a 4-win season as a reliever. He's been doing exactly what we need him to do. Gutierrez continues to pitch well for us, 6 saves. And then the rest of the bullpen has been not very good. Baez has been a bit of a disappointment so far, but I'm hoping it's just early. He's already walked 8 in 8 and a third innings, and that's not his MO. He's usually around 3 to 3.5. So hopefully he turns it around. Offensively, usual suspects, although Pete Crow Armstrong has been fantastic so far. 6 home runs already. Wasn't expecting that kind of power. 15 extra base hits in 24 games. 972 OPS. His contract demands are pretty extravagant. But if he continues to hit like this, he's probably worth it with the level of center field he plays. Guzman and Zumaya are mashing the baseball. I moved Guzman to first because we did sign J.J. Bleday. So we moved him to first. He's just an absolutely horrid defensive player. But his bat's just so good that it makes up for it. Zumaya, we made the decision to leave him in the outfield and not move him to first because he's actually a pretty good left fielder. So we put him in left. All 3 of them with 6 home runs. Tamar Johnson got off to a hot start again this year, just like he did last year. 354 through the month of April. Jimmy Washabaugh has been great as our backup catcher. He'll probably start to eat into Dingler's playing time if he continues to hit like this. In fact, I think he will. We'll go every second game now against righties. 417 and 24. It's obviously small sample size, but 10 of 24 so far. He deserves more playing time. Mejia continues to hit. He's dropped down to a 2-star player, so I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain, but he's still on pace for 100 RBIs this season. Lewis is out for a week. He showed some power. Average is a little bit low. Actually, average is a lot low, but still putting up a 790 OPS because of the slugging. He's been above average defensively, so he's been fine. J.J. Bleday, 373 on base percentage. Like I said, we have him leading off against righties. He's hitting 300, has a few home runs, so he's been a nice pickup for us so far this year. And then you can see the rest of our bench. Campbell's hitting okay. Campbell's hitting quite well again this year. Arce, all right. Dingler's not doing terribly, 256, but that I expected his on base percentage, honestly, to be higher with his I and his avoid K, but nothing so far. And then Danny Ascenzio has flamed out. He was a top 100 prospect last year, but just hasn't shown that he could hit in the majors, so he's probably not long for the team. So that's kind of where we are through May 1st. I don't know what my plan is for this episode. I'm kind of feeling like recording a little bit extra today, so I may take us all the way through through July. Haven't really gotten that far yet. Haven't really. We'll see how May and June go, and then we'll make the decision. But for now, what I'm gonna do is step aside. I'm gonna sim through May. I will come back at the end of May, and then we'll start to look at potential moves to kind of get us over the hump this season. So I will be back in a month. All right, we're back. It is June 1st, and it was a very good month for the Cincinnati Reds. We are 31-20, 2 games up on the Pittsburgh Pirates. It was a 17-10 month. That's not where I wanted to go. 17-10, following up a 14-10 April, 31-10 through 2 months. We are 20-4. At home, guys. 20-4. We got to do something about our road record, but 20-4 at home, I'll take it. We made one deal this past month, and it was with our former club, the Detroit Tigers. So we have raided the Detroit Tigers minor league system, and I think made a pretty solid deal. So let's take a look back at that. So we sent... that's not where I wanted to go. Let's do it this way. So we traded Mike Sherbet, who is a 3-star, potential 5-star, but control's never going to develop, I don't think. He's 23 already. We had an ERA of 8 in AA, so he was the main point of this. We traded Danny Ascenzio. I mentioned he was down to 2 stars. He was not hitting this year for us. Didn't hit last year. Traded Garcia Chucha, who was the other minor league bullpen piece that we have. It looks like they're going to make him a starter. I don't know that this was probably the biggest piece of the puzzle or the hardest piece of the puzzle, I guess, for me. For me, given that he's only 21. He's a ground ball pitcher. But I like our return, and you'll see our return here in a minute. And Nolan Schubart, who's a 27-year-old, who we signed as an international free agent. Actually, no, I don't think we did. I think he had been in our system. Previously. But at any rate, he was 27. And in return, we get Jerry Howard, who's a 24-year-old, good bat, good catcher ability, good arm, pretty solid offensive option behind the plate. Have him in AA Chattanooga right now, where he is currently hitting .325, so he will likely be in AAA before it's all said and done. Aurelio Coliano, who is another catching prospect, 23-year-old, more of a power-hitting catcher than he is a contact-type guy, but between the two of them, between Howard and Coliano, you've got pretty good bats behind home plate. He's also starting in AA, where right now he's at 228, but already has 8 home runs in 20 games, so he'll be in AAA. These guys will both be in AAA soon. We've got some catchers in AAA that we have to do something with. We pick up Henry Aguilar, who was a draft pick of ours, I believe, as part of the Tigers. Oh no, we got him from Tampa. Okay. We got him from Tampa and Drew Strotman in the Alex Verdugo deal. Wow, that was ages ago. So we got him for Alex Verdugo. We just picked him up. We need a young bat at first base, and he fits the bill. He's not very good defensively, but should be a pretty good all-around hitter. He also starts in Chattanooga, where he's off to a relatively slow start, but he will be fine. And then the last piece of the puzzle was Jake Desmond, the 24-year-old number 95 prospect in baseball. He was a number 3 pick for us back in 2025. And I'll show you what we ended up doing with our lineup in a second, but really high contact, good gap power, good avoid K, very, very good defensively at second and short. He slides right in as our starting second baseman, which means we had to do something with Tamar Johnson. And you can see so far so good. 338, 375, 397 for Desmond in 21 games. Not a lot of power, but 4 doubles. Only 7 strikeouts and 72 at-bats. So that is a pretty solid deal, I think, refilling the minor league coffers a little bit with some offensive talent. Giving up Sherbert and Chucha was a little tough, but getting Desmond, Aguilar, and then 2 young catching prospects back in return is huge. We have a couple catchers in the in AAA. We have Josh Collins and Ford Proctor. Proctor may end up being trade bait, and when that happens, in fact, let's move Collins down and let's move Coliano up now. So I'll probably try to use Proctor as part of a trade bait and then move Howard up as well. But yeah, I like that deal. I think that really, like I said, sort of refills the coffers a little bit with some offensive talent, at the expense of a little bit of pitching talent, which, you know, we've got some players like Dan Campbell who can step into that role. We've got some young guys here. Omar Dubon's another young pitcher someplace. Tony De Leon, he's another one. So we've got some young pitchers. Now we have some quality offense to go along with it. So what does that do to our lineup, you ask? So Tamar Johnson moves over to third base. He becomes our starting third baseman. He's obviously got the ratings for it. He's got the arm, the error, the range, the discipline. And he will become our starting third baseman. Zone rating's a bit above average. Efficiency still a little below average. He's actually not been great defensively this year, so I suspect that at third base he'll be fine. So we now have Royce Lewis at short, Jake Desmond at second, Tamar Johnson at third, and Alexis Guzman at first, who's still just an awful, awful, awful first baseman. Long term, that's not his place. Long term, I think he needs to be back out in the outfield. Hopefully, the National League will pick up the designated hitter at some point before this playthrough is over, and we'll be able to just stick him at DH. But for the time being, he's just going to stay at first base. Big deal. Big trade made. Dylan Dingler's hurt. So one of our catching prospects may get a shot here soon. Washabaw's average has slipped since he's gotten a little more playing time. And I'm not going to go through all this. You guys have already seen it. But Crow Armstrong, no home runs last month, but continues to hit the ball pretty well. 2.1 WAR, playing very, very good defensively. Anything else that's really standing out? J.J. Bleday has been the definition of average. Royce Lewis, the average is really low, but he's hitting for some power, which is kind of weird. But as long as he plays good defensively, I don't care. Dingler has really stepped it up. Look at that, 363 on-base percentage this year. So that's what I wanted to see. And then obviously Guzman and Zamaya are continuing to get it done. And on the pitching front, Justin Barnes, I mean, look at his season, guys. 9-1, 2.63 ERA. He's on pace for 29 victories this season. He has been the definition of an ace. Looks like Giolito has... Let's look at his splits. Yeah, he wasn't very good in May either. So the Lucas Giolito thing isn't working out, so we may look to see what we can get for him. Guillaume's has been okay. I mean, none of our starting pitchers have been great with the exception of Barnes. Morales has been okay. Brown has been surprisingly good, but Giolito and Guillaume's have been bad. The only starting pitcher we have in our system who's going to be ready in the next year is Jim Lucas. So I'm going to leave Lucas in AAA this year. We're not going to force the issue. We're going to let him stay in AAA, and we will call him up next year. Beyond that, Tony Stewart, 60 strikeouts in 27 innings, 2.28 ERA. He has been just an absolute monster for us. The WAR has dipped a little bit. He gave up some runs and some hits in May, but still he's been fantastic. Gutierrez had a bit of a down season compared to last year. It's really only been a couple of bad outings, to be honest, to be fair. 8 runs in 16 and 2/3 innings, struck out 24. So the strikeouts are still there. The walks are up a tiny bit. The home runs are up a tiny bit. Hopefully he can get that under control. Pabon hasn't been pitching much. He's only pitched in 9 games. And I think that's because we have him as the stopper. So let's make him middle relief, use more often. because we're pitching all of our bad pitchers the most, which doesn't make any sense. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move Espino back to normal usage, get his 5.4 ERA out of there. So I really want to run with Gutierrez, Stewart, Pabon, Baez as our main four. Oh, and I forgot about Francisco Morales. We picked him up off the waiver wire on April 7th, and he's been really good. So let's use more often for him. Actually, he may be somebody that we want to try as a starter if we're able to move Giolito. Nobody wants him. What if we eat the entirety of his contract? We've got the money to do so. Nothing great. No. Well, Ivan Gonzalez isn't terrible. He's been bad this year. Really just looking for a pitcher that maybe has some options left and maybe some room to grow, like Caleb Satrugit. Looks to be pretty good. He's 26. He was a second-round pick back in 2022. Good stuff. 3 good pitches. Hasn't made the majors yet, so that means he's probably Rule 5 eligible at this point. But yeah. So that's something we'll consider. Let's take a look at the trade block. So the name on here that I keep coming back to is Dan Stevens. The problem is I can't give Tampa anything they want for him. So this guy's really, really good. Great fastball, 96 to 98. Good slider, good splitter. He's been good this year. He's making next to nothing, only $4 million. But I don't have anything that they want to make it work. I suppose, if we do something crazy, yeah, see, like our 2 top prospects, or 2 of our top prospects, and they still want Pete Crow Armstrong. So I don't know if that's going to work. This may be an option in the offseason because we still have $47 million next year. But I think from an upgrade perspective here as we go into June, pitching, I think that's going to be our number one focus, trying to get another starter. Offensively, I'm pretty content with where we are. I mean, we scored the second most amount of runs. We have the highest batting average, 3rd highest on base, 3rd highest OPS, 3rd in WOBA. The only thing we're really lacking is power. We've only had 59 home runs. So, but I'm okay with that. We've got a really, really good defensive infield, with the exception of Guzman. I think we have enough power with Guzman and Zamaya that we can survive. It's our pitching staff that really is going to need to sort things out, and our defense too. But again, which is weird because we have significantly above average defensive players at second, short, third, center, and then you could even argue Zamaya out and left. So it's really only, and even Blade and right is really good too. Yeah, I mean, with the exception of first base, and I think that's it. We are significantly above average, so I'm not sure why we have the negative zone rating and the bad defensive efficiency, but it's something we will keep an eye on. So, yeah, so what else do we have on the trade block before we start simming? Alex Arroyo is hurt. Alan Lapensi, he's 28. I mean, he may not be a bad pickup. I mean, he's not great, but, yeah, I mean, he 205 hits a year ago. Doesn't give up a ton of home runs. I mean, he's been below average every year. And it doesn't really appear to be much else. Yeah, really everything else is 2 stars. What about bullpen pieces? Adam Hill. And I think it's still a little too early to be pulling the trigger on quote-unquote deadline deals. I'm hopeful that as we get into June and July, that there will be some better options. So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue. We are going to continue on, and we're going to go day by day here in June and see how the month of June goes. So our first game, there we go. That one hurts. So Dylan Dingler out for 2 to 3 months. So that means we are going to go with... I mean, Coliano is the better developed catcher, but he's not as good defensively as oh, tell me he's hurt. Tell me he's hurt. Tell me our other catcher. Yeah, he is. Blurred vision. He's not as good as Jerry Howard, who's out for 7 days. So it's going to be Coliano, I guess. And maybe that gives us the pop we need. I mean, I was talking about how we are missing, how we're missing kind of that that additional big bat. I mean, Washabaugh is satisfactory behind the plate, the 66 catcher, and he's not going to throw anybody out. But if we go to lefties, we'll get Coliano in there. Obviously, he won't bat leadoff. I think we're going to stick Desmond in the leadoff spot, and we'll just kind of run with that. So we win 7-5. 2 hits from Royce Lewis. J.J. Bleday, 2 for 4. 4 runs knocked in. Brown pitches well again. Keep going. 3 games against Atlanta. Another victory. 5-1. Zumaya homers. Crow Armstrong homers. Morales pitches well, and that's what I wanted to see. Pabon getting out there and getting some additional innings. He should have been pitching a ton more. I don't know why I didn't catch that, but with him out there, if Baez is pitching well, things will start to look a whole lot better for us, I think, from a pitching perspective. Game 2 against Atlanta, another win. So we won 3 in a row coming out of the chute here in June. Guzman 2 for 4 with a home run. Giolito picks up the win, gives up 4 runs in 6. That's still his best start in a while. Zumaya homers, Guzman homers, Desmond hits his first home run for us, and Campbell homers for the first time this year. So, yeah, I'm really happy with this deal, with the trade we made with Detroit. Gives us some players that we can lean on in the future here. So that's a plus. Cool. So good start to the month of June. Let's see what happens in the third game. Can we sweep? No, we lose 3-0. We go to Milwaukee for 3 now. Or for 4, it looks like. A 9-3 victory. So more offense. J.J. Bleday, 4 hits, 4 RBIs. So he has come along nicely. 835 OPS, 119 OPS plus. That works. And he's gotten really good in right field. When we first signed him, he was like a 20-something in right. He's already up to a 53. So he's done nicely. Royce Lewis, another good game. Got that average up over 230. 3 more hits for Desmond. Guillaume's picks up the win. Improves to 7-3. Things are looking up for the Cincinnati Reds in year 2 for us. We lose there. Louis Robert, I still don't know which one it is. Hits his 300th home run. Alex Brigman, his 2,000th hit. Game 3 against Milwaukee is a 2-1 victory. Who got the start in this one? Morales. Does he get the win? He doesn't. Stewart comes on. Pitches 2 shutout innings. He gives up 1 hit. Strikes out 4. Doing Tony Stewart things. Coliano with 2 hits. Campbell with 2 hits. That's what you like to see. And the final game. Can we take 3 out of 4 against the last place Brewers? We do. We win 4-2. So we are 6-2 this month. Yeah, 6-2 this month. Another solid outing from Giolito. 6 2/3. 2 runs. Baez gets the win. Gutierrez pitches 2 shutout innings. So Zumaya homers. Long hits his first of the year. 2 hits for Guzman. I had a game where Dingler, and I'm not even going to bother looking for it, but Dingler went 0 for 0 with 5 walks out of the leadoff spot, which is, I mean, that's perfect. Perfect. All right, so we win again. We win again. We are now 4.5 games up in the Central over the Pirates. Yeah, things are looking sharp. We got an off day. And I think we have the draft pool here at some point. When does that come out? The 11th. So we'll sim through the 10th, and then we will look at the draft pool and see where we stand. Another 3-0 victory. Justin Barnes, man, just continues to get it done. He doesn't get the win. He pitches 6 shutout innings. Baez gets the win And Stewart pitches 2 perfect innings, striking out 5. Blade with another home run. Guzman 3 for 4. They're bringing in Campbell as the defensive replacement. That's what I like to see. Cool. All right, so let's look at the rookie draft pool mock draft. We are picking 20th. They have us taking Steve Stultz. Not a bad bat. Very flexible, which I like. I don't like the low adaptability, low work ethic, low intelligence, and mental lapses and general lack of hustle. But he can hit. He can hit. So the draft pool. So we're picking 20th. Wow, there are not a lot of good bats in this draft. They have us taking the last 2.5-star hitter in the draft. What about pitchers? I mean, I think I would rather draft. Yeah, I mean, look at all those 2.5-star and up starting pitchers. Not a very good draft, but if we can end up with someone like Chris Correa, ground ball pitcher, or Dan Early, maybe. I like the hike. I like the good control. Joe Ellis. So there are a lot of pretty good starting pitchers. I think that will likely be our target. Chris Morales would be awesome. My guess is he's going to go pretty high up, though. So, and I assume Dave Boston is going to be one of the top picks in the draft. They have Boston going 11th to the Yankees. Cool. All right. So, wow, they have Correa going all the way down here in the supplement. I mean, he's not going to fall past me. If he's there at my pick, he's my pick, I think. So, all right. Well, let's keep going. How long have I been going for this play? This has been 20 minutes plus whatever the last one was. See, I think we're just going to get to June or to July and then call it an episode. So let's keep going here. Try to take another game against the Cardinals. We don't. We lose 7-5. And the third game of that series is a 7-5 victory. J.J. Bleday looks like he hit another home run. Zumaya homers, Mejia with a pinch hit home run, Tamar Johnson homers. So we get 4 home runs in this one. The start was Curtis Brown. He only goes 3 2/3 innings. Stewart picks up the save. Gutierrez gives up another run in an inning and 2/3. Guzman with 23 stolen. It's been I don't want to say it hasn't been a bad year at all, certainly. He's on pace for 6.6 WAR, but compared to last year, it's been down a little bit. Power's down a bit. He's not hitting nearly as many doubles. He only got 6 doubles on the year after hitting 44 a year ago. So you have to suspect that'll change as we move through the rest of the season. San Diego, game 1 at home, 4-2 win. We continue to play well. Zumaya, 2 for 3 with 3 runs knocked in. Lewis, 2 hits. Morales goes 6. Stewart gets another win. He has just been ridiculous. He's on pace for 206 strikeouts in 96 innings. I would say that deal has been pretty solid for us. Game 2 against the Padres is another win, 7-6. Wow, they scored 4 in the 9th. We came back and scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to pick up the win. So Gutierrez blows another save. That ERA is ballooned up to 6.17. Might be time to think about taking him out of the closer's role a little bit. Baez came in, picked up the win. He's pitched, I think, much better. I guess not much, but he had one outing where he gave up runs in June, but he was really good in May. So I think we need to pause and come up with a solution for closer. And I think it's going to be Pabon. Make his secondary middle relief. And then Gutierrez, we're going to move to middle relief and avoid high leverage. We'll still have him as our backup closer, but I think for now we need to give him a bit of a break here. It's been a rough go for Alex. And he's still young. He's still only 24 years old, but you can see April he was good, May not so much, and then June has just been pretty awful. So we're going to give Willie Pabon a chance in the closer role with that 101 mile an hour stuff. Basically the same pitcher as Gutierrez, just with better control. So he is a free agent after this year. So let's quickly talk to him and see about locking him up. Would you take 2 years, 4 years at $2 million each? You would. Okay. I'm fine with that. 4 years, $8 million for a 25-year-old flame-throwing ground ball pitcher. So we will start with that. Let's see if we can sweep the Padres. We can. Wow, we are. What's our record this month? Like 13, 11-3 this month. We get 2 hits, 2 RBIs from Crow Armstrong. Looks like a home run. Washabaugh 2 hits. Has that average up to 320. And I like how Campbell's coming in as a defensive replacement for Guzman in pretty much every game. Barnes goes 5, 3 hits. Butcher, Morales. Morales gets the win. Pabon picks up the save. And now we go to St. Louis for 3 more games. We just played them. Playing them again. This time on the road. And we win again. 7-4. 3 hits, 3 RBIs for Guzman. 3 hits and an RBI for Washabaugh. 2 hits for Blade out of the top spot in the lineup. Guillaumes gets the win. Espino and Stewart pitch 4 shutout innings. Stewart picks up his 9th save, striking out 5 more. He is just untouchable. Game 2 against St. Louis. Another win, 7-3. Zumaya this time the big bat. 4 hits, 2 runs, or 2 RBIs. Blade and Lewis each had a couple of hits. Johnson a couple of hits. Coliano still looking for that first home run. Brown goes 6, gives up 3. He's been for $1.2 million. I'll take it. He's on pace for 2.5 WAR and 12 wins. Pabon with another save. So let's go for the sweep and our 7th win in a row. Can we get it? Yes, 5-0. Pabon signs his contract with us, which is fantastic. We got him locked down for 4 years at $2 million a season. 5-0 win. Mejia, it looks like Mejia's playing better with in a part-time role. I mean, his average is up, the on-base percentage is up, the slugging percentage is up, OPS is up, so he's playing really nicely in sort of a part-time-ish type role. Morales goes 8 shutout innings, drops that ERA to 3.33. That's not where I wanted to go. I want to go here. So now we take on Arizona for 3 games in the desert and another victory. So they want to send us Dan Harris. Nope, not for Tony DeLeon. That is a poopy deal. The fans liked the Pabon extension, which is good. So what do we got here? Zumaya with a 3-run home run, his 20th of the season. Is Blade hurt? Yeah, he is. And it's pending. That's no good. So Giolito pitches well again. So it looks like he started to come around here a little bit in June. Yeah, look at that. 3.38 ERA in June. Tony Stewart, 2 more shutout innings. Hopefully the injury to Blade isn't serious. 3 to 4 months. That is serious enough. He's done for the season. That sucks. What are we going to do now? Because that means Guzman goes back to right. How's Aguilar doing? He's still not hitting. If he was hitting, I might actually call him up to play first. So I guess it doesn't really matter. We just need a bat out there. Maybe somebody like Arise, who can play 3 infield positions and just is a really solid contact bat. That'll work. But it does mean we have to do some shifting of our lineup. So we're going to put Guzman back in right. I think Arce is going to get... let's do this. Let's bring in Arise. We'll put him at first. And then against lefties, we'll put Arce in there at first. And stick Guzman back in right. So we're going to lose some power. You know, obviously losing Blade isn't good. He was on pace for 28 home runs this year, so losing him is going to be a bit of a problem, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, you know, we'll battle through like we always do. So we lose to Arizona in the second game of the series. What about the third game? An 11-3 victory. Arise in his first game for us, 1 for 5. Desmond goes 3 for 5 with 3 runs knocked in. Johnson has 3 runs knocked in. Hits his 4th home run of the year. Desmond with 2 doubles. Zumaya with 2 hits. Guillaumes, improves to 9-3. I want to check something. I didn't. Yeah, so Guzman is there. Okay, I wanted to make sure that Guzman wasn't being benched because he didn't play in that game. So game 4 at Arizona. Can we take 3 out of 4? We do. We have just been on 17-4 here in June. Guys, I did not expect us to be this good this soon. We've made some good deals, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I didn't expect us to be this good. So Desmond, 3 more hits. Johnson, 3 more hits. Washabot's got his average up to 350. Zumaya has 2 hits. Washabot hits a home run. Brown picks up his 6th win of the year. Look at that, 2 innings, 6 strikeouts for Stewart. Yeah, so now we got 2 games against the Detroit Tigers. Let's see how these games go in Detroit. First game is a 5-4 loss in extra innings. Let's just quickly take a look at that. Who got the loss? Pabon gets the loss. Blows his first save of the year. Arce homers. They get home runs from Cam Collier, Jordan Castro, Elijah Green, and Marcelo Meyer. Carson Hamro goes 7 innings for them. Arce with a grand slam in the first. We were up 4-1 and could not hold on. All right, game 2. And I guess that's fair play. We get swept by the Detroit Tigers in a 2-game series. Our former club. This time, Miller with a couple of hits and an RBI. Trayvon Balog, 6 hits, 1 run. Giolito gave up 4 and 7. So, all right. Well, if you're gonna lose to somebody, it may as well be to your former team, right? Let's finish off June here and hopefully finish up strong. I'd like to take 3 out of 4 against Philadelphia. We win the first game 8-3. 3 hits, 4 RBIs for Desmond, who has just been an absolute godsend since coming over. Look at that. 2 home runs, 26 RBIs. I mean, his OPS is only 766 because doesn't walk very much, but 310 batting average, and defensively he has been, wow, he's actually been below average defensively. That's weird. Zumaya, 2 hits, 3 runs scored. Barnes improves to 10-3. I want to see something. Yeah, I mean, our coach is outstanding at coaching infield, so that's not the issue. All right, let's see what happens in game 2 against Philly. 7-4 win. Our eyes with 2 hits at the top of the order. Zumaya, 4 for 4, has that average up over 300. Things are starting to click for Adin Zumaya. Look at his potential. Look at his estimated line for the year. 43 doubles, 11 triples, 43 home runs. We need to see about potentially locking him up long term. That's something we'll take a look at in a minute. Desmond, 2 RBIs. Guillaumes gets his 10th win of the year, even though he's got an ERA of over 5.2. Yeah. Stewart with his 11th save, ERA down to 1.58. Game 3 against the Phillies. It's a 6-1 loss, and like I said, I would like to win 3 out of 4, so let's see what happens here in the last game of the month for us. It's a 10-7 loss. All right, so we finished the month 19-8. I will certainly take that. Let's just get to July 1st. We're going to look at Adin Zumaya and see if we can get him to a long-term contract like we did with Guzman. If we can just get the 2 of them locked down and not have to worry about them, I think that's perfect. All right, anything here? Nope. International free. We'll look at that next episode. Player development. Pabon got better. Guillaume's got worse. Yeah, I think we're going to let him walk. Well, we're absolutely going to let him walk when the season's over. He has dropped significantly this year. Barnes has gotten better. Again, he's been our ace. He's been fantastic. Washabah has been 353 out of Jimmy Washabah. And look at Coliano. Look at that development, guys. Did we just land ourselves a stud catcher from Detroit? I think we may have. Arce got better. Hitting for some power this year. Zumaya better. Guzman's speed got a little worse, but that's fine. Jerry Howard. Did we just land 2 stud catchers? I mean, It's a possibility. It's a possibility. All right, so let's look at salaries. And we wanted to talk to Adin Zumaya. So 7.3, 14.7, 18.9. 7, so 7, 14, 19. So let's just go all out here. So 7, 10. That's 70. I don't want to give him $70 million next year. 14, 18. And I don't have any idea if this is going to work, but, I mean, we're going to go after it here. I mean, that's a ton of money. I would be fine with it. My guess is he doesn't accept, but we'll see. Yeah, he only wants the one-year deal. So it's something we might have to approach down the road. I mean, we got Guzman locked up till he's, 32 or something, which is great. I'd love to be able to do the same thing with Zumaya at some point. Contract-wise, we're going to have a ton of money next year. We're not going to bring back Williams. We're not going to bring back Blade. We should probably start talking to Barnes now because he has a player option at the end of the year that he will most certainly decline with how well he's been pitching this year. Crow Armstrong is another one we need to talk about. So we've got some decisions to make. Of all the players that are up this year, Barnes and Crow Armstrong are the two I'd like to bring back the most. Baez at $3 million. I mean, that might not be a bad deal to bring him back. We got Pabon locked up. So yeah, we've got some contracts we are gonna need to deal with here going forward. Mejia at 4.6 probably isn't gonna happen. We'll probably clear ourselves of that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are there. Yeah, so that's really it, guys. That's how things shape up. July 1st, next episode will be the month of July. We'll do like we always do, international free agency, the draft, trade deadline, and then we'll sim through the rest of the season at that point. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the deal I made with Detroit. Let me know where you think I should be targeting or what I should be targeting at the trade deadline, who I should be bringing back. If you have any suggestions on contract offers for players like Barnes and Crow Armstrong, I would love to hear them. So, guys, as always, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you.